Hello everyone, and welcome to the Easy English podcast. I'm your host, Anna. Today, we have a wonderful story about a girl named Sarah who loves to read. We'll also learn some useful new words together. Are you ready to practice your English with us? Don't forget, you can leave a comment with your favorite word from today's episode.
Hi, Anna. I'm excited to be here. This story is great for beginners, and we'll pause to explain each vocabulary word as we hear it. Let's enjoy the story and learn together. Shall we begin?
Sarah loved to read. She read novels and poems. She loved the beautiful descriptions and phrases. You know, a novel is a special kind of book. Now let's explain that word novel.
A novel is a book that tells a long story, usually about people and their lives. For example, Harry Potter is a famous novel. Now, the word description also appeared. Do you know what that means?
A description is when you say what something or someone is like. For example, the cat is small and black. That is a description. Sarah also liked reading work from poets and novelists. Let's talk about poet.
A poet is a person who writes poems, short pieces of writing that often use beautiful language. William Shakespeare was a famous poet. It's interesting how Sarah prefers literature over technology. Let's quickly explain technology.
Technology means things made by science, like computers or smartphones. For example, he loves technology such as laptop computers. But Sarah didn't like technology or video games.
Sarah was on the basketball team, but she didn't like sports. Her parents made her play basketball. In fact, they made her do many things she didn't want to do. She just wanted to read all day.
That's right. Sometimes parents want us to try different activities. By the way, did you notice the word coach in the story later? Let's remember, a coach is someone who teaches you a sport. For example, my coach gets very excited during games.
Exactly. So, while Sarah was on the basketball team, her coach was the person guiding her. Now, let's see what happens next in Sarah's story.
One day, a small book came in the mail. It was for Sarah. The book looked very special. It was printed on sheets of gold. Let's pause and talk about mail.
Mail means letters or packages that are sent to people. For example, I get a lot of mail because I have friends all over the world. Now, the book was printed on sheets of gold. Do you know what sheet means here?
A sheet is a thin, flat piece of paper. For example, I only needed a single sheet of paper to do my homework, and to print means to put words or pictures onto paper. For example, make sure that you print your name clearly.
The book was magical too. Magical means very special, almost like it has magic. For example, the fireworks made the night sky look so magical. Sarah was excited to read this magical book.
Sarah began to read. The outline of the story was simple. Let's explain outline. An outline is a plan for a story or essay showing the main parts. For example, before I wrote my essay, I made an outline.
The story was about a magical place where strange things happened. One example, it's pause, here an example, is something that shows what you mean. For example, cola is an example of a soft drink.
Yes, in this example, a boy in the book could control people. Now, to control means to make something do what you want. For example, to control the TV, just push the buttons.
In one scene, he made his friends tell funny jokes. Scene means one part of a book or movie. For example, a movie is made up of many short pieces or scenes.
Sarah loved the book. She read it all the time. Then something strange happened. The book gave Sarah a special power. She could control other people, just like the boy in the book.
During one exam, she made her friend tell silly jokes. Now, exam means a test. For example, I did some practice questions for the math exam on the board, and silly means not serious or a little foolish. For example, I made a silly mistake of dropping Mom's vase.
Her friend got in trouble for telling silly jokes during the exam. This is where Sarah started to use her new powers in her life.
After school, Sarah did not make a direct trip home. She went to the local store to play more tricks. Direct here means going straight between two places. For example, the green path is a direct route to my house.
And local means nearby, close to where you live. For example, the local market in my neighborhood sells all the food we need. Now, a store is a place where you can buy things. For example, I picked up a few things at the grocery store.
Sarah used her power to make people fall down. She laughed and had fun, but she was causing problems for others.
Finally, Sarah left the store and started to walk home. Then she saw something. Dangerous, a basketball coach, was about to walk in front of a bus. He was looking the other way.
Sarah had to stop him. She used her power again. She controlled him and made him stop walking. This time, she used her power to help someone, not to play tricks.
This was an important moment for Sarah. She realized that her power could be used for good or bad.
Sarah learned something important that day. It was better to help people than make them suffer. Let's explain suffer. It means to feel pain. For example, her headache made her suffer all day.
Sarah decided to put a limit on how she used her power. A limit is the most or least you allow. For example, my mother put a limit on how much I could use the phone.
So, Sarah chose to only use her power for good things and not for bad things anymore. She learned to be kind and responsible.
Now, let's review our new words. I'll say the word, and you give an example sentence, okay? First, coach.
Sure, coach. My coach gets very excited during games. Next, control.
Control. To control the TV, just push the buttons. How about description?
Description. I gave a description of the man with the gun and hat to the police. Next up, direct.
Direct. The green path is a direct route to my house. Shall we continue with exam?
Exam. I did some practice questions for the math exam on the board. Example. Cola is an example of a soft drink. Limit. My mother put a limit on how much I could use the phone.
Local. The local market in my neighborhood sells all the food we need. Magical. The fireworks made the night sky look so magical. Mail. I get a lot of mail because I have friends all over the world.
Novel. He wrote a great novel about ancient China. Outline. Before I wrote my essay, I made an outline. Poet. William Shakespeare was one of the greatest poets.
Print. Make sure that you print your name clearly. Scene. A movie is made up of many short pieces or scenes. Sheet. I only needed a single sheet of paper to do my homework.
Silly. I made a silly mistake of dropping mom's vase. Store. I picked up a few things at the grocery store. Suffer. Her headache made her suffer all day.
Technology. He loves technology such as laptop computers. That's all of our new words for today.
Great job, everyone! The more you review these words, the easier English will become. Now, let's finish with a little motivation.
Remember, learning English is like reading a new novel sometimes. It's hard, but every page brings something new. Practice a little every day, and don't worry about mistakes. You're doing great.
Absolutely! Try to use today's words in your own sentences. Maybe write a short story or talk to a friend. The more you use English, the more confident you'll feel. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time.